Okay, I'm going to do something really simple here. I'm going to get my cat to draw a shape. So here's my cat, here's my sprite. Now I'm going to get him to draw a square. Okay, now to make that happen, I'm going to go over here into my scripts. Now, the way that almost every script starts is by using this thing here, when the green flag is clicked. Now, that's in the events part. There's lots of different controls here. In the events, when the green thing is clicked, that means when I click this little green flag, something's going to happen. Now, what do I want to happen? Well, I want my cat to start drawing. So I'm going to say, cat, put your pen down on the piece of paper. That's step number one. Now, that was pen down on the paper. Next, motion. I want the cat to move forward. Now, I want the square to be about this big. So he's going to have to move from x is negative 50 all the way to x is positive 50. So I'm going to tell him to move, not just 10 steps, I'm going to tell him to move 100 steps. And then I'm going to ask him to turn his body. You can see he's turning now. I'm going to ask him to turn his body 90 degrees. And I can continue that, move 100 steps, turn 90 degrees. This is getting really boring. Move 100 steps, turn 90 degrees, move 100 steps, turn 90 degrees. Alright, let's see what it looks like. I press the green button and great, he drew a square. Now, if I press the green button again, he'll draw another square. Now, he's going to continue drawing squares every time I press the thing, but he's drawing the squares over the top again. Now, this is a bit of a problem for me because I want to see this happen every time. So, when the green thing is clicked, not only do I want him to draw a square, but before he starts, I want him to erase his entire thing. So, pen, clear screen. So, pen, clear. Now, let's see what that looks like. Press the green thing. Okay, you can see that every time I press it, the first thing he does is clear the screen, then he puts his pen down, then he does the 4 steps. You can also see that the 4 steps are instantaneous. He does this, then he does this, then he does this, all in like a fraction of a second. That's the big advantage of computers, they move fast. Okay, so that's very basically how we can get him to draw a square. Now, we don't like the angle of his square, it's a bit jaunty. So I'm going to go to motion here. I'm going to say the first thing I want you to do, cat, when I press the green thing, is point in the correct direction. I want you to point to the right. We could say point left, point up, point down, but I want him to point to the right. Let's try this again. Okay, so you can see now he points in the direction, he clears, he puts his pen down, and he moves those amount of steps. Okay, so we have a cat now who continually draws squares. Now, if I want, I could put a wait command in here before he starts. So, point in the direction, clear everything, put your pen down, wait 1 second, and then get going. Okay, and you can see he waits and he draws it. He waits and then he draws it. Now, I could also put a bunch of wait commands, maybe wait 0.1 of a second. Point. Okay, you can see, we can see him now drawing it. Fantastic. Now, that's how we can draw a square. Now, obviously, you could draw an equilateral triangle, you could draw a hexagon, you could draw any kind of shape using this idea. Now, you are probably looking at this going, there are a lot of repeated steps. There has got to be a better way to do this. Yes, there is. You're staring at it right here. So an important part of computational thinking is seeing these repeated steps and taking advantage of that. So really what we want to happen, and grab a bit of this here. Now we can see that this, wait 1 second, move 100, turn 90 degrees, is a repeated step. Okay, so I can get rid of all of this. Now we only want him to repeat that 4 times. Let's see what it looks like now. Not bad. It doesn't do the same thing that it was doing before, but it's pretty close to the mark. That's because for some reason my last step I must have used the wrong turning signal. So grab a different turning signal. Now we should have the same looking rectangle as last time. And this debugging process, looking at things and going, why is it doing not quite what I wanted it to do? That's an important part as well of this whole process. All right, all of this rubbish that we just used, we can move it over here. And now we just have one very, very simple script pointing in 90 directions, clear, put your pen down, and then do this thing for 4 times. This is the beginning of our coding.